Hello everyone, welcome to day 23 of 30-day challenge of learning Tableau from scratch. In today's video, we are going to talk about parameters. Parameters are one of the very core concepts of Tableau. Okay, so in today's video, we'll try to use or implement the parameters in different scenarios. We will see what are the different types of parameters and we'll try to use them in different ways. Okay, so stay tuned and let us get started. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So I'm just going to create a new sheet here. So always remember three steps whenever you are trying to create a parameter. That is, first step is uh, what is the data type of the parameter you want. First, we need to identify this. Second, create the parameter. Third one is display the parameter. Fourth one is establishing a relationship with your database. So these are the four important things that you need to remember whenever you are creating a parameter. Okay, so once you are clear, like what is the data type I need to use and all, then the job will become very easy for you. Okay, so second point to remember here is parameters are global in nature. So global means once you create that in your workbook, you can use it anywhere. They are not limited to any particular worksheet that you are trying to create in. So if I am trying to create a parameter in this worksheet, like say sheet 28, on this data source, sample superstore, but even I go to any other worksheet in this workbook, I can use that. Okay, so that is why they are called as global in nature. Okay, so now let us go ahead and start creating or using the parameter. So I'm trying to use a very basic use case so that we understand how we create a parameter. My intention is highlighting the category selected by user. Simple. I want to highlight the category that is selected by the user. So first thing is identifying the data type. So for this I need string data type. I'm going to create string data type here. Okay, so we can create a parameter by clicking on this arrow mark, and we have an option called as create parameter. This is the first option. Or you can click on any field, go to create option, click on that arrow mark, go to create option, and under that you have parameter option. Okay, so we can use whatever we feel is easier. So I generally use from this create parameter. First step, like I said, identify the data type. So it is a string type, so I'm naming it as select category. Okay, and identifying the data type here. These are the different data types that are supported by Tableau. So you can use a floating type parameter, integer type parameter, string type parameter, boolean, date and time. Okay, so I'm starting off with a string type, and now you want to pass on your current value. What is the default value that you want to give it to parameter? Okay, either you can give all values or you can specify any list if you have. Okay, so you can start writing that here. If you click on add, you can write it from here, or you can also import it from any existing field. So I'm just bringing it from field, add values from what is our field name. I want it from my category, so I'm just selecting that. Automatically I got all of those category items when I've selected that. Okay, so these are the values here. Okay, click on OK. So we have identified the parameter, created the parameter. Next step is, to show the parameter. Click on that and click on show parameter. Now see here, if I'm doing, if I'm changing the selection, nothing is happening as of now, right? So let us also build a simple view. Because I want to build a view on category item, I'm using category and I'm taking sales, and maybe I'll just swap it and I'll make it entire view as well. Okay. Now my intention is I want to highlight whatever the user is selecting here. Others I want to like kind of show it as a deselected ones. So I'm writing. So if you remember this step, we have done this, we have done this, we have done this. Now I'm writing the fourth point, which is very, very important. Okay. So I'm just going to create a calculated field. So naming is very important in how when we are when we are using a parameter. So because in real time we might be creating multiple calculations and not all of them will have a parameter. So when you are using a parameter in your calculation, I want you to create or write a name in a way that you clearly identify. So just because I'm using a parameter, I'm trying to write p here and I'm just giving the same name here, and I'm giving the same name select category is equal to category. Okay, now you can try to guess what would be the data type of this field that we are going to create. Okay, so now what will happen from my parameter office supplies is the standard thing that will come out. So how will it start evaluating? So first, office supplies is equal to furniture. So what will be the result? It will be false, right? Likewise, it will go to the next item, that is then office supplies is equal to office supplies. Result will be true. Same likewise of office supplies office supplies is equal to technology. So again here it will return false. So at any given point of time, if you observe, only true or false is possible from this calculated field. So that is why Tableau will define this field as a boolean data type. See here t/f. Okay, so I'm going to use this for our advantage and I'm going to drop it on color shelf. So what are we learning from this use case is how we can use a parameter or a calculation that is derived from parameter on color shelf. Okay, so you can also drop the same thing on sorry, I want to color this actually. Yeah. So for true, I want to highlight, and for false, maybe I want to just gray it out. I'll use a little, yeah. Now see here, if I'm selecting office supplies, only that is becoming true. If I'm selecting furniture, only that is becoming true. Technology, that is becoming true. Likewise, if I try to drill down at a lower level till subcategory, even that is working for me. See, automatically I can build that. So this way also I can use. So I'm writing this as parameter one use case. Okay, so now let us see other use case here. So this time what I'm doing is I'm trying to create uh, top 10, which is very normal in real time. We often do that, but if you remember previous steps that I told, we have manually created all of this, right? So we have created the data type or identified the data type, created the parameter, displayed the parameter, and established the relationship. All of this we did, right? Now I'm just going to show you a different way for that. I'm going to click on this customer name because I want to show the top 10 customers here, and that should be dynamic. I'm going to just take this and drop it on filter shelf, going to top by field. So I need top 10 with respect to sales, right? So this 10 is my static as of now. I want to make that dynamic. So if I click on this arrow mark, I will have an option called as a create a new parameter. So I'm writing here. So here you can directly, you see, again, we got the same pop-up to create a parameter. I'm naming it as enter top n. Okay, so automatically the data type of this field is being decided as integer. Okay, and here if you see here, current value is 10, which is important for us. 10 means what? By default, how many values do you want to display? So whenever you open the report, top 10 customers will be displayed, but still user will have the option to enter the number of customers he need. Okay, so this you can decide based on the requirement that you have, like what is the default value that you want to show. It can be 5, 6 and all. But if you look at this at the bottom here, we have an option called as minimum and maximum. So we can control the limit here. What should be my upper limit? What should be my lower limit? That is something that is important for us. Okay. So let's say minimum I want 5, and maximum control I want to give to the user is 15, not beyond that. Which means less than 5 he cannot go, more than 15 he cannot go. So we are restricting the user, because if you give like this without any control, he might enter thousands also, right? So that way it will cause problem, because we want to. So I'm just so here by default, when a value when workbooks open. So what is the value that you want a Tableau to consider when it is opening? Okay, when this workbook is being open, current value means it will offer refund to this value that is there. But you will have option to choose top custom or any other parameter value that is there. It can consider from that. Okay, so I'm just clicking on OK, apply. Okay. Now you see parameter is created and relationship is also identified. Data type is also created. Just click on show parameter, and I'm just trying to here. Parameters can be, customized in two ways. One is a slider option and another one is type in. So whatever you feel, you can do it. So I'm just trying to enter 5 values here. It is giving me 5 customers. I'm going to give 3 customers, but it's not accepting. See, it is giving me 5 only. Likewise, I'm trying to give 10 values. It is giving me 10. I'm trying to enter 15. It is giving me 15. But if I try to go beyond 15 and enter 20, it is rounding it back to this number. Okay, so this you have to remember here how we can restrict here. So this in this use case, if you observe, we have used parameter in the filter shelf, right? So whatever the use case, I mean, is there, we are using that in this. Okay, so one parameter in color shelf, second parameter in filter shelf. Okay, now I'm going to write this as parameter to use case. And if you also remember, we have created string type parameter, and here integer type parameter. Okay, now let us see another use case where we will create a different type of parameter. This time my intention is I want to show value for the value for the date selected by the user. Okay, so again what I'm doing is, for that I'm just trying to create order date, and maybe I'll make it exact date and convert that into discrete in nature, and add a sales value to my view. Okay, now if I see the value here, we have values ranging from 2019 to 2022. All right, so I'm going to create a parameter here of date type, because our intention is to display the value for the date selected by the user. Okay, so I'm selecting this. Data type would be date. So if you want a time also to be included, you can consider that, but I'm using this. Again, here we have display format. All of this you can change if you want. I don't want to play with that. And what is the current value here? Again, by default, whatever the workbook open, it is that. Next is, the problem here is by default it is taking today's date if you observe, but I don't want that to happen. I want this to be adjusted according to our database values, because not all the times our data might be updated till date. We might have some older dates or future dates like that. I want it to be adjusted with the dates. So I'm clicking on this range of values. Now if you see here, what is minimum, maximum, we have option here. But I want to adjust this values from a particular field. So I'm just selecting this and I'm selecting order date. Now automatically, if you observe, it is taking the maximum date that is available in our source here, and minimum date. Minimum date we have is 3/1/2019. Maximum we have is 22. So automatically it is getting updated from that data source. So in that way, you do not have to worry about the parameters. So I'm clicking on OK, and again I'm displaying this value. So again, like I said, we have two ways. We can either use slider or type in. I'm just going to select type in. Now, when you do that, you have a calendar type of symbol here, which you can use it. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do here is we need to write a calculation. I'm writing again here as P select date and select date is equal to order date. Click on apply. Okay. So again, this is classified as a true or false or a Boolean data type. So we want only only those sales based on the date selected. Okay, so let us scroll down and see what are the dates we have. So if you see on 30/12/22, we got sales for these four states. I'm going to check the same thing here. Okay, let us take this select date, not select date. I'm taking this and I'm dropping it on filter shelf, and I'm selecting only true values from this. Click on apply. Okay, now whatever the sales you select for this particular day, only that you will get. See, so you are making dynamic and restricting it to filter only for the dates that you have selected. That way I can use my parameter. Okay, so this is your third type. Again, parameter in filter shelf it is, and this is of date type parameter. So date type parameters are very important in real time. We create many use cases. So in the next series that is coming up, we will talk about different scenarios. So I'm going to start that challenge. Okay. So next we'll try to use a parameter in the view. Okay. And what I'm trying to use is I want to create a dynamic calculation here. Okay. So I'm just going to use create calculation. Sorry, create a parameter here. Okay, and I'm going to name it as a select measure. Okay, so this time my intention is based on what user is selecting, I want to display that, which means if he's selecting profit, I want to display my view on profit, and if sales, I want to display sales. So I have to list of two values here. I'm going to add as a profit, and I'm going to add profit. Acha, because it is integer, it is not accepting. I'm entering 1 and I'm entering 2. But display as value, I'm changing it to profit here. Okay, so if we can do that as well here. I'm making it as sales. Okay, so it is actually one that it is referring to, but display name we are changing. Click on OK. So we got that parameter. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a view. So we will take our category and subcategory as a standard dimension, and not going to take this. Okay, so we will make this dynamic. Now, so this was our parameter that we created. Now If I'm selecting profit from the view, I want profit to be displayed, sales means sales, like that. Okay, so you can customize. So even instead of sales, you can write any other items like your YO, your YTD, your MTD, your current year sales, your previous year sales, all of that sort of calculations you can do that. So this is a very basic example for to make it easy. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to write a calculation, and I'm writing as P select measure and case of select measure. So when you are using case statement here, we need to pass all the values that are expected in that measure. So when it is 1, then I want maybe sales. When it is 2, then it is profit. Okay, and end, simple. Okay, so you can write aggregation or do aggregation at multiple levels here. You can write an aggregation like this. Okay, first thing here, and same thing you can do it here also. You can do it like this, or you can do something like this as well. Second option. So I'm directly to the whole entire calculation, I'm writing another aggregation. Okay, so this is your second. Or simply when you pull this calculation into the view, this will become aggregated. So three ways where you can try to aggregate this. Okay, but I prefer at this level. Okay, within the calculation, and I'm going to apply. Okay, and when I drop this, it is displaying for dynamically. Now we are using it in the view here. If you observe, when I'm selecting profit, it is profit. When it is sales, it is sales. So maybe it is the reverse that I have done. Where is our calculation? So I simply have to change when this is 2, when this is 1. Okay, so when it is profit, it is profit. When it is sales, it is sales. Okay, but there is still little confusion, like what it is showing and all. I want to make my titles dynamic here so that users can understand what is the actual measure that they are talking about. So I'm going to use parameters in the title, displaying names, displaying values for. I'm going to insert option here, and I'm going to use the parameter that I've created. Okay, so maybe we will highlight this so that whoever is seeing this will understand what is the parameter we are talking about, or what is the measure value we are talking about. Okay, maybe I'll make it to the center of the screen. Apply. Okay, now you see here, when we are selecting sales, it is showing sales only. When I'm selecting profit, it is showing profit. So that way we can use here. Okay, so this is the next value. Okay, parameter in the view. So we are using it as a dimension or a measure, whatever we want, we can do that. Okay, so again, the current scenario that we have seen, we can do it using integer type or string type. I have done using integer type because integer works faster compared to string. You can try using string also. You just need to tweak your little calculation so that it can get adjusted. So likewise, you can also create parameter on the reference lines or on the axis. So for that, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use order date in the view, and maybe I'll make it, exact date here, and I'll just try to add sales here to my view. So I got some sales here, right? I want to create an axis here. Okay, on the axis, right click on this, add reference line. Okay, so here it is order date, right? So instead of that, I'm going to use the selected date parameter that we have created. Okay, so if you remember, we have created this parameter in our previous use case. I'm going to use it, or you can also create a parameter. Now if I simply select that, whatever the date is there, that is getting highlighted. See, it is drawing a line. Okay, so computation value I want to see. Okay, so click OK. That way we can do. Now if I try to show this value in the date, and maybe if I select any date, whatever the date is there, based on that, that will get highlighted. See here, I can scroll back to any month, see it moved here. That way I can do. Likewise, if at all you want to have another axis here, you can also do that. Add a reference line. Okay, here instead of this, again you can create a parameter here. Okay, maybe I want to enter the constant value. Okay, so what is the data type? It is taking by default a float. You can do that. uh, Click on OK. Okay, I'm not passing any value for now. Okay, so just show parameter here. Okay, so here it is. Now if I try to pass values, see here we are getting another reference line. So this way also you can use your parameters. So here we have created again fifth use case parameter on axis. Okay, we have used. Okay, so this way you can use. So these are the different use cases where you can create a parameter and use them. Okay, so next, when we discuss about dashboard concepts, we'll talk about how we can use parameter in actions. But for now, remember all of this different use cases about parameters. Okay, so with that said, that's it from my side in this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If it does, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, and have a good day.